Hello everyone, welcome you all in class 9th social science classes. This is the democratic politics part of the social science and this is the chapter number 5, working of institution, and we are discussing module number 3. The content of the module number 3 which we'll discuss are political and permanent executives. So what the mean of political and permanent executives we will discuss, and in this we will discuss the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Minister, their powers and President. So let's start the topic. Our first topic is political and permanent executives. Means after the legislature, the second branch of the government is executive. There are two kind of member in this executive. One is political member and the second one is permanent member. Political member, the one who which is elected by the people for only a specific period of time is called political executives. Means basically the leaders. Leaders, political leaders, or we can say the representatives which elected by the population or people of the country. So they work only for a specific period of time. So that's why they called as political executive. It signifies the government of a country because these leader or representatives form the government, so they signifies the government of the country. The one where people are appointed for a long term basis is called the permanent executive or the civil servant. People working for the civil services are called the civil servants. Means the people who gave the examination of the government jobs and elected for these work. So they work as considered permanently. Means they work near about 30 years or the age of 60 they can work in the government. So that's why they called as a permanent executives. These permanent executives help to the political executives in taking of the decisions. There are three civil services in India: IPS, Indian Police Service; IAS, Indian Administrative Service; and IFS, Indian Foreign Services. Now we'll see the difference between the political and the permanent executives. What the difference between them? Political executive, exclusively who are elected by the people, means the representatives. These are political executives. But on the other hand, on the based salary, the civil servant who are appointed for a long term by the different examination. Second, political leader like Prime Minister, Council of Minister, these are political executives. And the permanent executives, as I told you, like IS, IPS and IFS. Political executives remain in office only so long as they command the confidence of the majority member of the parliament. Means as the government is confirmed or making its majority, they can work. The maximum period of time of political executives are 5 years, but within these 5 years, if the government is collapsed, then they have to leave their post. But the permanent executives don't remain in any political party, so there is no relationship to these people to any political party. The tenure of these people are fixed. Next, they are answerable to the people because these political executives represent or elected or chosen by the people, so that's why they are answerable to the people of the country and for all the consequences of that decision. Permanent executives mean the civil servants. They are not answerable to the people because they are not elected or chosen by the population. Political executives are more powerful because As you know, in democratic government, democracy means to the people, for the people, and by the people. So these executives elected or chosen by the population. So that's why they are directly answerable, and the final decision only taken by these political executives. Permanent executives are less powerful. They do not take any decision. Instead, they assist political executive in carrying out day-to-day life of the administration. So this is the basic difference between political and permanent executives. First, in permanent and political executives, first we will discuss the Prime Minister, then we will discuss the President of India. The Prime Minister is the most important political institution because, as we already discussed, President is the head of the state, but Prime Minister is the head of the government, or actual power exercises only by the Prime Minister. President appoints the Prime Minister. So, who appoints the Prime Minister? President appoints the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister does not have a fixed tenure, although it has a fixed tenure for 5 years, but he can enjoy the post in the parliament only when he have a majority in the Lok Sabha. So he continue in power so long, remain the leader of the majority party or coalition. So the currently Prime Minister of India is Narendra Modi, as you know, and BJP, the party, is win by a full majority. So there is no coalition government, there is a majority party. Now the power or the powers of the Prime Minister, we will see. First, he chairs the cabinet meeting, means all the cabinet meeting chaired by the Prime Minister, coordinate the work with different departments. There are different departments, so he is the leader of all these and he coordinating with them. His decisions are final in case of disagreement. If there any dispute arises between that department, so his decision is final. He exercises the supreme power of different ministry. Although there are different kind of ministries, but he exercises the general supervising. He can supervise all the ministries. All ministers have to work under the leadership of the Prime Minister only. The Prime Minister distribute and redistribute the departments. As you know, there are different departments like food minister, finance minister, education minister. So the Prime Minister can change the ministry at any time. He can divide the ministry as well as redistribute the ministries. He has the power to dismiss the minister as he finds that the minister are not working, so he can dismiss them also. When the Prime Minister quits, the entire ministry quits, means if Prime Minister give it resign, so the entire ministry have to quit without giving the resign. So thus, if the cabinet is the most powerful institution of the India, within the cabinet it is the Prime Minister who is the most powerful. So he is called as a head of the government or head of the cabinet. Then we will see the cabinet ministers. There are two kind of ministers here. Council of Ministers, the official name of the body. The include all the minister, usually 60 to 80 minister of the different task. So cabinet minister in the parliament we can say if the ministry. So cabinet ministry is the most important ministry where near about 60 to 80 minister can be exist, or these are the very important minister taking important department. Usually top level leader of the ruling party who are in charge, the major ministers. The cabinet minister meet to take decision in the name of the council of minister. So in this cabinet, the most important ministry comes, as well as prime minister choose the favorite one minister in the cabinet minister, so can the work can be easily smoothly moving on. Cabinet also we can say is the inner ring of the council of minister, and normally it comprises 20 ministers. Then second kind of ministers are minister of states. First kind of minister are cabinet minister. Second kind of ministers are ministers of states with independent charges. These are usually of smaller minister comparatively. They participate in the cabinet meeting only when specially invited. Means they generally don't a part of the cabinet meetings. When they invited only, they can interrupt the working. Then the third kind of minister are minister of states. These are attached to and required to assist cabinet ministry. So to survive, to easy for the working. Cabinet work as a team. No minister can openly criticize and decision the government because they are the member of the ruling party, so they can't criticize the working or decision of the government. Every minister have to secretary basically these are the permanent executive IAS and all, so they become as a secretary to the political executives. The secretary provides the necessary backward information to the minister to take decision because these secretaries or we can say the IAS these are good enough or so in knowledge of their department, so they give the backward information to the minister to hold their tasks. Election procedure of the president. So the second political executives form of India is president. The president of India is not elected by the people directly. As we can see that the election of prime minister is directly done by the population of India or the people of India, but president is not elected by the people of India. All the member of parliament means the MP and member of assembly MLA legislative assemblies elect them. Once MP and MLA is elected, so combinedly these MPs and MLA elected the president. A candidate standing for the post of president have to get majority vote to win the election. So those who ever the stand for a president election, they have to win the election by getting the majority from MP and MLA. This ensures the President of India can seen to represent the entire nation because all MPs and MLAs participate in the election of president and these are elected by the people of the country. So it means the president is directly or indirectly elected by the people of the country. Now we'll see the power of the president. President of India, head of the state. As we see that prime minister is head of the government and president is head of the state or country. He exercises only nominal power, actual power exercised by the prime minister. He is like Queen of Britain, Victoria, like who functioning all to large extent ceremonial. President supervise all the functionaries of the country of political institution, means each and every work done on the name of the president of the country only. All government activities take place in the name of president. All laws and major policy decisions of the government are issued in his own name. So basically he is head of the state or head of the government. All major appointments are made in the name of president. So this policy decision, major appointments, activity, each and everything done only on the name of the president. If we see the appointments, so a president can done the appointment of Chief Justice of India, then the judges of Supreme Court and High Court, the governors of the state, election commissioner, EC, and the ambassadors of the other country. So if we see the appointments done by the president, so these are appointments done Chief Justice of India, then Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, Governor of states, election commissioners, and ambassadors to the different country. All international treaties and arrangements are maintained and done only on the name of the president. So all kind of treaties with the other countries and arrangements done with the other countries only on the name of the president. Now we'll see the limitations of the president. The president is the head of the state, as I told you, and not to head of the government. Head of the government is prime minister. So he exercises only nominal power, that to the advice of council of the minister. So he can only advise the council of the ministers. There are three kind of ministers in council, as we have already seen. Prime Minister can ask to Council of the Minister to reconsider it advice, but if the same advice is given again, so he is bounded to act accordingly. So if any advice is given by the Parliament, so he have to bound and he have to work according it. If a bill is passed in the Parliament become a law only after the President give assent to it. Means, as I told you, one bill, or we can say the office memorandum, one it presents in parliament, so he have to pass from both the houses. Then after it move to the prime minister, president, and president have to sign it. Then it become as a act. If the president wants to delay it for some time only, so he have to send back to the parliament and reconsideration for the reconsideration. But if the parliament passes the bill again, so he have to sign it. So in this way we can say that president have a limitations. So if the parliament pass any kind of bill, so president can delay only for a short period of time, otherwise he have to pass it or have to sign it. Appointments made by the president, as I already seen, different appointments: Chief Justice of India, Supreme Court Judge, High Court of States, then appointment of Prime Minister of India, Minister. First he appoints Prime Minister, then Prime Minister, according his choice, he appoint the Council of Ministers. Then Governor of States appoint the Election Commissioner and ambassadors of the country. When the president exercises his discretions, when a party or coalition of party, means the president's power when he uses power. So when a party or a coalition of party get a clear majority in the election, so the president have to appoint the leader of the majority party to coalition that enjoy majority support in the Lok Sabha. इट मीन्स कि अगर एक कॉलिजन पार्टी का फॉर्मेशन होता है तो प्रेसिडेंट ही उनको इनवाइट करता है लोकसभा में अपना सपोर्ट और मेजॉरिटी क्लियर करने के लिए. अगर किसी भी पार्टी को या कॉलिजन पार्टी को क्लियर मेजॉरिटी नहीं मिलती तो भी प्रेसिडेंट ही उनको लोकसभा में अपनी मेजॉरिटी क्लियर करने के लिए इनवाइट करता है. प्रेसिडेंट अपॉइंट्स अ लीडर हु इज़ इन द ओपिनियन कैन मस्टर मेजॉरिटी सपोर्ट इन द लोकसभा. प्रेसिडेंट ही उन लीडर्स को अपॉइंट करता है जो अपनी ओपिनियन वहाँ पर एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. सो इन दिस फॉर्म प्रेसिडेंट कैन आस्क फॉर द न्यूली अपॉइंटेड टू प्रूव मेजॉरिटी इन द लोकसभा. और उसके बाद प्रेसिडेंट ही न्यूली फॉर्म जो गवर्नमेंट होगी, न्यूली फॉर्म जो पार्टी होगी, उसको अपॉइंट कर सकता है एक पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिफिक टाइम देकर लोकसभा में अपनी मेजॉरिटी एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए, मेजॉरिटी को प्रूव करने के लिए कि वो गवर्नमेंट बनाने के लिए एलिजिबल है. सो इन दिस वे वी कैन से दैट इन दिस वर्क द प्रेसिडेंट uses more power on the other hand. Thank you. Rest of topic we will discuss in module number 4.